All right, folks. Listen, this stuff about the election was a fraud is, long ago left the realm of comedy or parody, and it's now entering, for some people in this country, into an area of definable clinical psychosis. This is getting fucking insane, ridiculous. I mean, it really is. This orange bastard who squats on his mountain of cheeseburgers in Mar-a-Lago has the ability, and he had the ability for 4 years, and even now, the ability to make people go crazy, just completely lose touch with reality. And they're all Christian fascists. I can't think of, except for a couple of Nazi Jews that work very close to him, like his son-in-law, like the despicable, filthy Stephen Miller, and a couple more. Very limited, the number of Nazi Jews surrounding Trump, and I don't know why they're there. But the vast majority are Christian, insane people. They're just totally out of their goddamn minds. And it's getting worse and worse and worse because they're continuing to infect people who otherwise would not be known for their political astuteness, but the type of people who would, is it time to vote? Okay, I'll go vote, Democrat, Republican, whatever. Just people who were sort of blanked out, were concerned what's going on in this country politically. Those are the people who are seemingly just falling completely into a status of not victims, but prey. P-R-E-Y, prey. I mean, Trump and the Christian fascists are devouring these people's minds. And it's really starting to freak me out to a degree that hasn't occurred up until now. I mean, it's getting worse and worse. You want a classic example of what's going on in Arizona, in Phoenix, in Maricopa County. Jesus God. First of all, this so-called cybersecurity group, which they're not, they're a bunch of fucking, they're hackers. They're thugs, thieves, liars. These are people who break into banks on a cyber basis. These are people who hold medical records hostage until they get some kind of ransom. But this group is they're looking for traces of bamboo in the ballots that they're counting, because they insist that thousands of ballots, fake ballots, arrived from Asia. Now, I mentioned this last week. Everybody knows that Asia is full of bamboo. You do know that, right? Of course you don't. Oh my God. I can take you 50 yards from the Daniel Scapin studio here in the foothills of the North Georgia mountains and show you all the bamboo you want to see. Especially if you get into the suburbs or the exurbs of Atlanta, bamboo grows very quickly and it makes great property dividers, you might say, for people who want the privacy of a bamboo curtain. Oh, bamboo curtain. But the mere fact that the people doing this counting, supposedly, for this fucked up firm out of Florida, of course, and now they're looking for bamboo fibers. I mean, how much beyond that insanity can one go without falling completely into an abyss of total gibbering rubber bungalow madness, where you spend half the day chewing on your arm and the other half talking about bamboo fibers in the ballots? This is insane. And it would be comical if it were not so destabilizing for this country, for democracy. See, here's the deal. Arizona law requires a certain kind of audit. And it's a smart idea. When they're done right, it's a smart idea. But that's not what is occurring in Arizona. Traditionally, an audit that comes after an election is conducted by trained election professionals. And it is done under, if not the supervision, at least the close eye of representatives of both political parties. And the traditional post-election audit conducted by these professionals is done to compare a percentage of the ballots with the official tally. Now, they don't check every single ballot. They will take random sample, maybe 10%, and check the ballots, check the votes. How were they registered? And then compare that percentage as to the larger result of the election. If there is a discrepancy, then a further check is required. The audit is expanded to additional precincts, not just the one where they took the sample from. Now, the Secretary of State, which in Arizona, in most states, is the chief elections official, oversees that process. And the rules are put out as to how this is done in an official state manual. And the whole idea is to keep it fair, transparent, bipartisan. Let's take a look. Do you remember back during the election, the stolen election of George W. Bush, when the ballots were being counted in Florida? And Roger Stone, oh yeah, he was a filthy little prick even back then, organized a bunch of, it was called the Gucci riot or something. All these lobbyists from Washington, D.C., these high-paid vermin whose sole function is to destroy democracy. Roger Stone hired a bunch of them to go to, was it Palm Beach County, and pound on the doors and windows of the offices where the ballots were being counted to determine whether George Bush or Al Gore won the election. Remember that? The Gucci riot? I think it was called the Gucci riot. This is what Christian fascists do. And the Christian fascists, like I said, they've been in operation since 1980, but they've only recently, that was 21 years ago, but they've only recently, these fascist son of a bitches, gotten to the point where they are now, rather than destroying an election, they're trying to destroy democracy. This is what they're doing. So in Maricopa County, which is Arizona's largest county, population-wise, home to Phoenix, they went even further than that due to these continuing bullshit allegations by Republicans, by Christian fascists, that, something was amiss. Donald Trump couldn't have lost in Maricopa County. So after the initial audit, the county, Maricopa County, engaged in logic and accuracy tests of the voting machines. Are the machines in order? Did they operate properly? Then they hired 2 independent auditors to check the machines a second time to confirm the vote totals. Now, all of those reviews, all the effort put in by the Secretary of State in Arizona came to the same conclusion. Quote, the results are accurate. Joe Biden validly won the most votes in Maricopa County and ultimately the state of Arizona. Oh, wait. Stop. Put on the brakes. This is where the psychotic son of a bitches in the Christian fascist party comes out of the woodwork like cockroaches, like termites. I don't know. Because the Arizona State Christian Fascist Party, a.k.a. the Republicans, said, no, we want more. So they went out and hired this phony fucking group of hackers from Florida to conduct a Christian fascist audit. And then a judge in Arizona, why I don't know, granted them access to ballots, to nearly 2.1 million ballots and voting machines. This group of hackers, which raised questions about the oversight and the control of this fucked up company as they take a look at ballots, the secret ballots. That's part of our process. That's part of our enfranchisement in this country, secret ballots. But this is why what they're doing in Arizona is a much larger threat than the result of the vote counting in Maricopa County. This is a threat to democracy. Now, the Department of Justice has warned the Arizona State President, Karen Fann, that this so-called audit may be violating federal law. That law requires election officials in each of the states to retain federal election records for 22 months. Now, if the machines and ballots are not under the ultimate control of state or local election officials, that's when that federal law kicks in. But that's not what is happening. So the Arizona State Republican Christian fascists hired a so-called cybersecurity firm, a bunch of fucking criminals from Florida, to review the ballot. Now, the reason I call them criminals, one of the people doing the counting, doing the audit, was a punk thug former Republican candidate for some bullshit position, but his picture is prominent in the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. There he is. You can go to CNN and find this picture of this rat fucker. And he even bragged about it on his Facebook page or whatever, Instagram, I don't know. Whatever this little prick, well, he's not little. He's a great big bloated fucker like so many of these people are. But he bragged about the fact that he was involved in the attack on the U.S. Capitol. And now this rat fucker is counting votes in Maricopa County. This is why they're criminals. This is why they're hackers and liars and thieves and cheats and Christian fascists. Now, this firm has no experience in election audits. And it was not even known, the company was not even known to prominent Republicans and election officials in Florida, where this pack of scum is from, which is a curious fact given recent close elections there. You would think they would know. The Republicans, Christian fascists in Florida would know about this company. Nobody knew. Even though the state's Christian fascists assert that this filthy company is qualified. But this firm has not explained what election audit experience it has. And its website focuses on software security. That's why I say these are fucking criminals. Yeah, buy their software security, install it into your business, and watch your business disappear. Now, the process these criminals is using is very much secret itself. And according to CNN, in court, this filthy fake company attempted to shield its procedures and shut the public out of the audit. But the court refused. It kicked out a reporter who had tweeted a picture of a former state lawmaker who was at the Capitol riot and was examining ballots, the one I just told you about. Now, officials claim they removed the reporter because he had taken a picture that included a ballot. But the reality of this whole situation belied that assertion, especially as the picture he posted did not reveal any details of the ballot. But the lawmaker that the reporter photographed, who was reviewing ballots, lost his 2020 reelection bid in Arizona, meaning that the ballots he was examining could at the very least have listed his name as a candidate. What do you suppose this bloated rat fucker is going to do? Huh? This one who was at the Capitol riot and this one who is now auditing ballots. in Arizona. You see what I'm talking about? Now, as CNN reports, there are just a few reporters who are allowed inside this Coliseum where the review is occurring. And that's only after a couple of news organizations filed a lawsuit, which the lawsuit was settled, and it ordered that news media had access. And almost every individual conducting the ballot review is a former Trump supporter. What the fuck? Who, when these scum are approached by a journalist, they said they would only talk to One America News Network, that filthy shithole that Fox sewer uses to dispose of its waste. It bills itself as a conservative news outlet, but it's populated by some of the most lying, filthy, sick fucks ever to sit in front of a camera. All they do is peddle orange bastard conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. It's not a legitimate news site. You see what's going on here? Not a legitimate news site, not a legitimate cyber auditing firm, election auditing firm. The people doing the counting are not legitimate or trusted ballot auditors. They're fucking Trump supporters. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.